In the dance of human connection,
Hello, my dear
relationships
friends.
navigate unseen
Thank you
currents.
for being
We
here
walk
with me
alongside those we
today.
care for, unaware
If you're
of
watching
subtle
this
forces
video,
shaping
it's
perceptions
not an
and guiding
accident.
paths. Imagine
believe
threads,
something
ethereal and
or
imperceptible,
someone
extending,
led you
not
here.
born of malice,
My name
but of
doesn't
influence,
matter as much
suggestion,
as my
or
story
well-intentioned
does.
guidance from
I
external
was once
sources.
deeply
Unseen
involved
energies,
in
like whispers in the
witchcraft,
wind, weave
rituals,
around her,
spell
influencing
work,
her
and
perspective without
spirit
her knowledge.
communication.
Shadows
I lived
deepen
in a
and
world
shift with her
most people
movements,
only
a silent
whisper
companion.
about in
She
fear
continues her
or
journey,
curiosity.
serene,
Today,
focused on the path ahead.
I speak as a
Manipulation
woman who
is
walked
not
away,
forceful,
who
but delicate
broke
redirection,
free, and
quiet
who learned
shaping of her
something so
trajectory in the
powerful
relationship.
that
This
it
interplay
terrified
of
the
external
very
forces
entities
and
I
responses
once
subtly
served.
alters a relationship's course,
Stay with
guiding to
me,
unexplored paths.
because what I'm
A
about to
testament to the
share
power of the
is
unspoken.
not theory,
Understanding these
not
delicate
religion,
dynamics, the
and
quiet
not
influences that
superstition.
shape our connections,
It is
allows us
lived
to navigate
experience,
relationships
and
with
it may
awareness
change
and intention,
how you see
recognizing threads
spiritual
that bind
power
us,
forever.
seen and unseen.
I remember the
The air
first
hung
time
heavy, thick with
I felt
unspoken
power
truths.
surge
A
through
single
me
candle
during a
flickered,
ritual.
its fragile light battling
Candles
the encroaching
flickering,
shadows that
symbols
danced across
drawn,
ancient, weathered
words
walls.
spoken with
Here,
precision.
in this hushed space,
Everything
a
worked.
secret was about to unfold.
Spells
A burden
manifested,
too great to carry
intentions
alone any
materialized,
longer.
and
A
spirits
mysterious silhouette, a
responded.
woman, sat at a heavy
That's
wooden
what hooked
table.
me.
Her head was
Witchcraft
bowed, a
rewards
posture
you
of deep
quickly,
reflection, perhaps
especially in the
regret.
beginning.
The weight of hidden
It
knowledge
makes you
pressed
feel
down,
chosen,
a silent confession forming on her
awakened,
lips,
superior.
ready to break
I
free.
believed
The silence
I was
profound,
controlling the
broken
unseen
only by
world,
the soft crackle of the
bending it to
flame
my
and the
will.
almost
What I
imperceptible
didn't
drift of
realize
smoke.
was
Each
that
moment
something
stretched,
else
building an
was
emotional tension that was
slowly
palpable.
controlling me.
The truth, long
Power
buried,
always
was
comes with
now
a
on the
price,
precipice of
and
revelation.
I was paying
What
it
secrets lay
without
within her
knowing
heart,
the full
waiting to
cost
be unveiled?
as a
The
warlock.
confession
Yes,
begins, a
I
whisper
used
against
that
the
title
vastness
proudly.
of time,
I
promising to reveal
worked
knowledge
with
that could
entities
change
that
everything.
presented
The air
themselves
crackles
as
with the impending
guides,
weight of her words.
protectors,
Listen
and
closely.
allies.
The veil thins.
They spoke softly,
Ancient whispers
promised
echo
wisdom,
from forgotten
and
depths,
never
calling to
demanded
those who
outright
dare to
worship.
seek what lies beyond.
Instead,
Feel the
they
pull.
asked for
A power
trust,
stirs,
obedience,
awakened by the
and
moon's cold
secrecy.
gaze. It
They
yearns for
hated
recognition,
questions.
for release.
They
Do
hated
you sense
doubt.
it? The unseen
And
entities,
most of all,
their presence a
they
chilling
hated
caress upon
anything
your skin.
connected to
They
one
watch, they
particular
wait.
name.
In the heart of
At
this
the
sacred
time,
space,
I
a lone
brushed
figure
that
stands,
off as
a guardian,
symbolism
a
or
conduit,
cultural
shrouded in
conditioning.
mystery.
Now
Her
I
gaze,
know
though
better.
hidden, pierces the
There was
darkness.
fear
A
behind their
silent
anger,
promise, a
real
whispered
fear.
threat. The ritual
Over
begins.
time, the
The air
rituals grew
thickens with
darker.
ancient power.
What
a
once
symphony
felt
of forbidden
empowering began
knowledge.
to feel
Surrender
heavy.
to its embrace.
I
The
started
boundaries blur,
experiencing
reality
night
unravels.
terrors,
You are no
sleep
longer merely an
paralysis,
observer, but a
sudden
part of
rage,
the unfolding
and
darkness.
overwhelming
Ancient
sadness
whispers
with no
stirred faintly.
cause.
The veil thins.
My energy was
Power
drained
awakens. The silent
constantly.
call resonates.
Every spell
Symbols
required
align
more
in perfect
effort,
harmony.
more
Energy
offerings,
flows.
more
A force
focus.
unbound, yet
The
held by
spirits
iron will.
demanded loyalty,
Flickering might intensifies.
yet gave
A
less in
crimson crack
return.
appears. The
That's
illusion
when I
wavers.
began to
Control
realize the
slips away
truth.
slowly.
No one
The
in
abyss
witchcraft
watches intently.
communities
A dangerous dance
wants
unfolds.
to
What
admit
is held can also break free.
the
In the
power
quiet corners
doesn't
of our
come from
lives,
you.
ordinary
It never
objects
did.
often hold more than
One
meets
night
the eye.
changed
A simple
everything.
ring,
I
a
was
delicate
performing
bracelet,
a
or a
protection
decorative trinket on a
ritual
dusty
for
table.
someone
They sit,
who
seemingly
claimed
innocent,
they were
yet
spiritually
sometimes they become conduits.
attacked. As I
Vessels for
invoked my
energies
usual
unseen,
entities,
echoes of past
something
moments,
felt
or
wrong.
perhaps something far
The
more
air
sinister.
thickened.
A
The
faint,
candles
dark mist
flickered
begins to
violently.
coalesce, not
I
from
felt
the air,
watched,
but from within
not
the very
assisted.
fabric of these items.
Out of fear,
It's a
not
spiritual
faith,
residue, a
I
silent
whispered
testament
3
to forgotten
words
tales.
I
The light
remembered
itself
hearing
seems
as
to
a
waver,
child.
shifting between
Words
warm,
I had
comforting
mocked
tones
for
and cold,
years.
stark hues.
I didn't
A
even
visual
fully
representation
believe
of the
them.
battle between light and
But the
encroaching
moment
darkness.
I said them,
This symbolic
everything
residue forms
stopped.
and fades, a
The
fleeting whisper of
candles went
influence.
out instantly.
It's a reminder that even the most
pressure
mundane
lifted.
objects can
The
harbor
presence
profound,
vanished
unsettling
like it had
secrets.
been ripped
As the shadows
away.
deepen and the
I
mist
stood there
recedes,
shaking,
we're left to
heart
wonder,
racing,
what stories do our
confused
own
beyond
possessions
words.
silently tell? What
For
unseen
the
influences
first time
do
in
they carry?
years,
Sometimes,
silence felt
friendships
peaceful,
that appear
not
supportive
empty.
can actually conceal a deeper
That moment
toxicity,
haunted me,
subtly undermining
not
your
because
well-being.
of fear,
These relationships
but because
often
of
begin
what
with
it
harmless
revealed.
gestures, slowly eroding
Something
trust
I had
and
trusted
confidence.
was
It's a
powerless
gradual process,
against
making
those
it
three
difficult to recognize the
simple
true nature of
words.
the bond.
After that
These
night,
relationships
the
often involve
entities
whispers
avoided
that
me.
manipulate emotions,
Rituals stopped
planting seeds
working
of
the
doubt
same
and
way.
insecurity within you.
Symbols
The words are
felt
carefully
empty.
chosen, designed to
Incantations
isolate
felt
and
dead.
control,
I
making you
was
question your
furious.
perceptions.
I
This
demanded
insidious
answers
influence
through
can be
divination,
deeply damaging.
meditation,
Observe the body
and
language
spirit
that seeks to
boards.
control
What
and
I
the
got
stark light
instead was
contrasts that reveal the
resistance,
facade versus the
anger,
truth.
threats,
Pay close
and
attention
finally
to subtle
silence.
cues, how power dynamics
That's when I
shift,
knew
and how your feelings are consistently
I
dismissed.
had crossed the
These are
line they
critical
couldn't follow.
indicators. Recognizing
Those
these
three
disguised
words
toxicities is
didn't
crucial
just
for
interrupt a
protecting your
ritual.
emotional and mental
They
well-being
shattered
in all
a
your
system.
relationships.
They
Understanding these
exposed the
patterns empowers you
hierarchy
to set
of the
boundaries and
spiritual
seek healthier
realm.
connections,
One
ensuring your
witchcraft
peace of mind
never
and
wants you
personal
to
growth
see.
are prioritized.
I began
In our busy
researching,
lives,
not
true
as a
connection
believer,
feels elusive.
but as a
Being
skeptic
fully present
seeking
can profoundly
explanation.
strengthen the love we share,
I studied
creating deeper
ancient
bonds.
texts,
Mindful
testimonies of
togetherness builds emotional security,
ex-occultists, and
letting
patterns
partners
hidden
feel
across
seen and valued.
cultures.
It's in quiet
Everywhere
moments
I
that trust
looked,
deepens and
the same
understanding
truth
grows.
surfaced.
Deeper connection isn't always about
Darkness
grand
recognizes
gestures.
authority,
It's about the
and
unspoken
it is not
understanding
its
that
own.
blossoms when you exist
What
together
shocked
without
me
distractions.
most was
Try
how
sitting
aggressively
quietly, holding
witchcraft
hands,
teachings
allowing presence
warn
to be the
against those
conversation.
words.
Feel the warmth, shared
They're
space,
called
quiet
dangerous,
comfort of
limiting,
companionship.
oppressive.
Maintain gentle eye contact,
We're told
letting
they
your gaze
strip you
convey
of
affection
power,
and acceptance.
but that's a
A
lie.
soft touch or
They
shared breath
strip something
communicates
else
love
of
beyond
power,
words. Small
something that
intentional acts
never
create
wanted you
intimacy's
to
sanctuary,
know you were
fostering bonds that
enslaved.
withstand life's
Freedom
demands.
always
It's
looks
quality,
like
not
loss
quantity,
to
of
a
time
captor.
together.
When I
Don't wait for a
finally
special
spoke
occasion.
those three words
Embrace
with
the power of
intention,
presence today. Offer your
not
partner
fear,
undivided attention
the
and watch your
reaction
love
was
flourish and
undeniable.
deepen.
In
Oppression
stillness,
lifted,
a dense, cold
mental
fog
fog
clings
cleared,
to the landscape,
the constant
shrouding
spiritual
everything in deep,
noise
desaturated
disappeared.
blues and grays. The
For
air
the
is
first
heavy,
time,
hinting at forgotten
my
warmth.
thoughts felt
Even
like
in
my
shadows,
own.
a subtle
That's
shift
when I
begins.
realized
A
witchcraft
faint, ethereal
doesn't
glow,
awaken you.
almost imperceptible,
It
pulses from
fragments
within
you.
the mist. Cold tones
It
deepen,
divides
then
your
soften,
will,
preparing
your
for change.
identity, and your
Slowly,
peace.
the golden light
I
strengthens,
know some of
pushing
you
back
watching
darkness.
are
The
curious.
thick fog dissolves,
Some are
transforming,
skeptical.
absorbed by
Some
radiance.
are involved
Warm
in
hues bleed into the
practices
scene.
you
The
don't fully
environment responds,
understand yet.
shedding its icy grip.
I'm
What was
not
stark
here
and
to
cold
attack
now
you.
blossoms with vibrant
I'm
golden
here
yellows
because
and
I
rich
wish
ambers.
someone
The
had warned
landscape
me.
is bathed in a radiant
Witchcraft
glow, a
promises
testament to the
control,
light's gentle
but
embrace.
delivers
A
dependency.
slow, uplifting camera rise
And the
reveals
scariest
this
part,
spiritual clarity.
you don't
The air is
realize
filled with
you're
peaceful
bound
energy, a serene
until
calm.
something
Every
tries
detail
to
is
set
sharp,
you
yet
free.
soft, bathed
Those
in an
three words are
ethereal
not
glow.
a spell.
The transformation
They
is
require
complete.
no
Golden
candles,
light reigns
no
supreme,
symbols,
a beacon
no
of hope
tools.
and tranquility.
They carry
The scene
authority,
is imbued with uplifting
not
peace,
technique.
a silent symphony of
That's
light
why
replacing
demons fear
darkness,
them.
leaving a world reborn.
That's
in
why
serene
spells
brilliance.
collapse in their
Discover
presence.
the profound strength
Power
within
that
you.
doesn't
A source
require
of
ritual
unbreakable
is
protection
power
and
that
peace
cannot
that
be
transcends all
manipulated.
challenges. This inner
Welcome
light
back,
acts as a
my
shield,
dear friends.
guarding your spirit from
If you're still
external
here,
darkness and negativity,
it means something
creating
inside
a
you
sanctuary of calm.
is listening
Embrace a confident
closely.
stance, knowing
I
you are
want you to know
shielded,
this.
allowing a deep sense of serenity
Before
to wash
I
over
speak
you.
the words
This
themselves,
symbolic victory over
understand
challenges brings
that
an
they are not
unwavering
magic.
peace, a quiet
They are
strength
not
that
a chant.
empowers your every step.
They are not a formula.
Cultivate this state by affirming,
They are
I am
authority
protected,
spoken
I am
aloud.
peaceful, I am strong.
When I finally
Feel the
understood
benefits of this inner
that
armor,
everything
clarity,
I thought
resilience,
I
and
knew
an
about
unshakable
power
sense of
collapsed.
well-being. Let this
Witchcraft
radiant
taught me
energy
that
guide you,
words
transforming
shape
fear
reality.
into courage and doubt
What
into
it never
conviction.
taught me is that
Embrace your unbreakable
some words
protection
don't
and
shape
peace,
reality.
and step into a life filled
They
with
command
empowered
it.
serenity.
The
In the
three
dance
words
of
are
human
simple,
connection, relationships
almost
navigate
offensively
unseen
simple.
currents. We walk
Jesus
alongside
is
those we
Lord.
care for,
When
unaware
I
of
first
subtle
said them with
forces shaping
awareness,
perceptions
not
and
mockery,
guiding paths.
not fear,
Imagine threads,
but
ethereal
intention.
and imperceptible,
Something
extended,
inside me broke.
not born of malice. but
And
of
something
influence,
else was
suggestion, or
restored.
well-intentioned
I
guidance
didn't
from
see a
external
vision.
sources.
I
Unseen
didn't hear
energies,
thunder.
like whispers in the wind,
What I felt
weave
was
around her,
clarity,
influencing her perspective
absolute
without her
clarity.
knowledge.
And the
Shadows
entities
deepen and
I
shift
once
with her
worked
movements,
with,
a
they were
silent
gone.
companion. She
Not
continues her
hiding,
journey,
not
serene,
silent, gone.
focused on the path ahead.
You see, demons
Manipulation
don't fear
is not
rituals.
forceful, but delicate
They invented
redirection,
them.
quiet
They
shaping of her
don't fear
trajectory
witches,
in the relationship.
warlocks,
This
or
interplay of external
spellcasters.
forces and
They
responses
recruit
subtly
them.
alters a
What they
relationship's
fear
course,
is
guiding to
recognized
unexplored
authority.
paths. A testament to the power of
Witchcraft
the
operates
unspoken.
on borrowed
Understanding
power.
these delicate dynamics,
That's the secret
the quiet
no
influences that
grimoire
shape our
admits.
connections, allows us to
Every
navigate
spell
relationships
requires
with awareness
permission
and
from the
intention,
spiritual
recognizing
realm.
threads that bind
When
us,
you declare,
seen and unseen.
Jesus is
The air
Lord,
hung heavy, thick
you
with
revoke
unspoken
that permission
truths. A
instantly.
single candle
I
flickered,
tested
its
this.
fragile light
I
battling
had
the
to.
encroaching
I
shadows that
challenged
danced across
active
ancient,
spellwork
weathered
directed
walls.
at me.
Here, in this hushed
Curses,
space,
bindings,
a secret was about
energy
to unfold.
attacks,
A burden
things
too
I
great
once
to carry
used
alone
myself.
any longer.
The
A
moment I
mysterious
spoke
silhouette,
those
a
words,
woman,
the
sat at a
attacks
heavy wooden
collapsed.
table. Her head was
Physical
bowed, a
sensations
posture
stopped.
of deep reflection,
Emotional
perhaps
pressure
regret.
lifted.
The weight of hidden
Dreams
knowledge
changed.
pressed down, a
It
silent
wasn't
confession
gradual.
forming on her
It
lips,
was
ready
immediate.
to break free.
That's
The
what
silence was
terrified me
profound,
most.
broken only
The
by the soft
backlash
crackle
came
of the
quickly.
flame and the almost
Nightmares
imperceptible drift of
intensified
smoke.
for a short
Each
time.
moment stretched,
Old
building an
entities
emotional tension
tried
that
to
was
reassert
palpable.
control
The
through
truth,
fear,
long buried,
guilt,
was
and
now on the
memory.
precipice of
But
revelation.
they couldn't touch
What
me.
secrets lay
Not
within her
anymore.
heart, waiting to be unveiled?
Authority had
The
shifted.
confession begins, a
Witchcraft
whisper against the
had
vastness of
conditioned me
time,
to believe
promising to reveal
protection
knowledge that could
required
change everything.
constant
The air
effort.
crackles with the impending
But
weight
real
of her
protection
words.
doesn't
Listen
exhaust
closely.
you.
The veiled
It
things.
covers you.
Ancient whispers
Let me be
echo from
clear.
forgotten depths, calling
Saying
to
the
those who
words
dare to
without
seek what
belief
lies beyond.
is just noise.
Feel the pull.
Demons know the difference.
Awakened by the moon's cold
Authority
gaze.
isn't
It
volume.
yearns for recognition,
It's alignment.
for release. Do you sense it?
When you
The
declare,
unseen entities,
Jesus
their
is
presence
Lord,
a chilling
you are
caress
placing
upon your
yourself
skin.
under
They
a
watch,
hierarchy.
they wait. In
They
the heart
cannot
of this sacred
override.
space, a lone figure stands.
That's why
a
spells
guardian,
break.
a conduit.
That's
shrouded
why
in
rituals
mystery.
fail.
Her gaze,
That's
though
why
hidden,
oppression
pierces
lifts.
the darkness. A
I
silent
know this
promise,
makes
a
some of you
whispered
uncomfortable.
threat. The ritual begins.
It would
The
have
earth begins
enraged
with
me
ancient
once.
power, a symphony
Witchcraft
of
trains
forbidden
you
knowledge.
to react
Surrender to its
emotionally
embrace.
to truth
The boundaries
before
blur,
you examine
reality
it.
unravels.
That
You are
reaction
no longer
is not
merely an
yours.
observer, but a part of the unfolding
It's
darkness.
conditioned.
Ancient whispers
I'm not
stir
asking
faintly.
you to
The
abandon
veil thins.
curiosity.
Power awakens. A
I'm
silent
asking you
call
to question
resonates.
who benefits
Symbols align in
from
perfect
your
harmony.
silence.
Energy flows.
Every spell
force
I ever
unbound,
cast
yet
required
held by
energy
iron will.
exchange.
Flickering might intensifies.
Exhaustion
A
was
crimson
normal.
crack appears.
Anxiety
The
was
illusion
normal.
wavers. Control slips
Spiritual
away slowly.
confusion was
The
normal.
abyss watches intently.
None
A
of that
dangerous
was
dance
normal.
unfolds.
It was a
What is held can
symptom.
also break free.
Freedom
In the
doesn't
quiet
drain
corners
you.
of our lives, ordinary objects often
doesn't
hold more than
fragment
meets
you.
the eye. A simple
Light
ring,
doesn't
a
manipulate
delicate
you.
bracelet, or
If
a
you are
decorative trinket on a dusty
experiencing
table.
unexplained
They sit,
fear,
seemingly innocent,
recurring
yet
nightmares,
sometimes they become
sudden
conduits,
personality
vessels for
changes,
energies
or
unseen,
spiritual
echoes
heaviness,
of past moments,
I want you
or
to know
perhaps
something
far more
important.
sinister. A faint,
You
dark
are
mist
not
begins
broken.
to coalesce, not
You
from
are
the
not
air,
weak.
but from within the
And
very
you are not
fabric of these
crazy.
items. It's
You
a
are
spiritual
likely
residue,
oppressed,
a silent testament to
possessed.
forgotten tales.
and
The light
oppression
itself
thrives
seems to
in
waver,
ignorance.
shifting between warm,
You don't
comforting
need to know
tones and
theology.
cold, stark hues. A
You
visual
don't need a
representation of the
church.
battle between light
You
and
don't need a
encroaching darkness.
pastor or
This
priest.
symbolic residue forms
Authority
and fades,
doesn't come
a
from
fleeting whisper of
buildings.
influence.
It
It's a
comes
reminder
from
that
truth,
even the most mundane
recognized
objects can
and
harbor
spoken.
profound,
Speak the
unsettling
words
secrets.
aloud,
As the shadows
not as an
deepen and the
experiment,
mist recedes,
but
we're
as a
left to wonder,
declaration.
what stories do our
When I
own
finally
possessions
surrendered
silently tell?
control,
What unseen influences do
real
they carry?
control,
Sometimes, friendships
gained
that appear
peace I didn't
supportive
know
can
existed.
actually conceal a deeper
the
toxicity,
constant hunger for
subtly
power
undermining your well-being.
disappeared.
These relationships often
The
begin
need
with
to
harmless
manipulate
gestures,
outcomes
slowly
vanished.
eroding trust
Life
and
became
confidence.
lighter.
It's a gradual
Not
process,
easier,
making it
but
difficult to
clearer.
recognize the true nature
Witchcraft
of the
told
bond.
me I was
These
my own
relationships
god.
often involve whispers
That lie
manipulate
nearly
emotions,
destroyed me.
planting seeds of doubt
Because
and
when you
insecurity
fail
within
as a
you.
god,
The words
you
are
have no
carefully
one
chosen,
to save you,
designed to isolate
declaring,
and control, making you question your
Jesus is
perceptions.
Lord.
This insidious
Means
influence
admitting
can be
you are
deeply
not
damaging.
meant
Observe
to
the
carry
body
the weight
language
of
that
the
seeks to
universe,
control and the
and
stark
that
lighting
is
contrasts
freedom.
that reveal the facade
If this
versus the
message
truth.
resonates,
Pay close
don't
attention to
ignore
subtle
it.
cues, how power
You
dynamics
don't
shift,
have to
and
comment.
how your feelings
You
are
don't have to
consistently
share.
dismissed. These
Just
are critical
listen.
indicators.
Something is
Recognizing
calling
these
you out
disguised
of
toxicities
darkness,
is crucial for protecting your
not
emotional
into
and mental
religion,
well-being
but
in
into
all your
truth.
relationships.
I am no longer
Understanding
a
these patterns
warlock.
empowers you to
I
set
am no
boundaries
longer
and seek
bound,
healthier
and
connections,
I am not
ensuring your peace
afraid
of
to say
mind
the
and
words
personal growth
that
are
shattered my
prioritized.
chains.
In our busy
Jesus
lives,
is
true
Lord.
connection